Hey folks, hope you guys are doing well as usual. And so this is a video I wanted to make a couple of days ago on a ride home, but I was kind of like left work a bit late and I was a bit tired, so I just wanted to get home. But I just wanted to give everybody a quick update on these rear brakes. If you watched my 1-month-old video, I changed the pads in the back ones here, these rear pads, and what happened is when I changed them, they were pretty tight, and then when they got hot, the pads expanded and locked up on the disc, and so basically the brakes locked up. So I had to, on Sunday I did this, I had to ride it round my local neighborhood because the back wheel just wouldn't move. It just would, like, it was just completely kind of like with the brakes fully on, and then the pads would eventually cool down, and then I could push the bike and then the back wheel would like spin again, and then eventually, you know, I could ride it again once it cooled down. But I've been riding it now for 3 days like this, and I'm not having any problems with the pads or the brakes anymore, apart from one thing which I will mention. The pads have kind of bedded into the disc, and the disc is not getting really hot, like not too hot like when I'm braking. The only problem I'm getting, I'll show you here, is I just pulled the only problem is the pressure pushing this back is not as much as it should be. So when you brake, it should kind of come right back. I can show you on the front one how it works. So let's see if I can get around. So you can see how that just springs back, and you can hear it. It's just springing back a lot because the pads in the front one have worn down a lot more. But if you have a look at the pads in the rear one, see, it's not springing back. It doesn't have that real click to it. It is working okay. The pads are not locking up or, you know, wearing on the actual disc, but you can see there's no gap, almost no gap in there, because the pads are about an extra mil thicker on the new pads are about extra mil thicker compared to the old pads. And if you have a look at here, you might be able to see it on the front. Yeah, you can see the pads are moving a bit more, whereas on the back ones there's almost no movement. So the pads are really tight, and I'll show you on the front. If you have a look here, that's not clicking as much, where you can see that it's really pulling, whereas this one is, it's doing it a bit, but it's not, you know, pulling it out. Because the reason why you want it to pull it out is this is the sensor in here which cuts off the motor. So if your brake is like that, the motor won't run because the sensor has disengaged the motor on the rear. But if you have a look at this one, it just flicks back straight away. And this one is kind of working, and the reason being for that is basically because these pads are a little bit too tight. When they wear down more, when they wear down about another 0.5 mil, then I'll be able to tighten this a little bit here, and then that will like pull it a bit more. So you can see, you know, that is like quite, whereas this one is, you can see that's tighter there. But you can see this one is, you can see how much movement this one's got, so it's not as tight, and that's the reason being, is just because basically the pads are a little bit tight on that. But it should wear down, and the brakes are working fine. The only problem is when I ride, I'm pushing a little bit, rather than, I like to ride on my brakes a bit, but I'm now pushing this just to make sure the pads, make sure the sensors engaged there so the motor will run. So yeah, so that's it. That is my update after 3 days, and there's no real problems. I'm happy with these pads. These pads they've really kind of made a big difference. Yesterday was really bad weather, and I cycled in the morning. I cycled in the rain for an hour with this bike, had no problems with it, and and the brakes were like, you know, working really well. They locked up tight. There was no problems when I was, you know, with them getting wet or anything. So when they did get wet, the discs would, the brakes would still lock on the discs really well and stop the bike. So changing them has been, you know, quite a good thing. It's really worthwhile. It's just a little bit of fiddling around to make sure they all work properly. So thank you for watching, everybody. That is the update on these X Zoom brakes that I changed. And as usual, if you guys have found this content helpful, it would be, you know, would really help the channel if you would like and subscribe. And if you're into e-bikes and that, it's good as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video, which will most probably be this Saturday or Sunday. I'm actually going to do a video when I hit 1,000 miles on this. I've done 666, so when I do 1,000 miles, I'll do a special video on how the bike is done, like a kind of mini review, just to you know, let you know if I've had any problems. So yeah, so I'll catch you in the next video, and thanks.